So I think I'm up and running. Let me just see here. Okay, cool. I think I'm up. Okay, cool. So yeah, everything looks good. All right. So I wanted to just take a little time to talk about Abiotic Factor. I put in, what was it? Yeah, about 600 hours into the game. There might be a little bit of overage because sometimes I'd leave the game running, so I don't know what it's counting. I'm currently just doing another Apocalyptic playthrough on hardcore. So one thing I learned is hardcore is not really Iron Man per se. It's about as close as you're gonna get. The reality is, if you want hardcore, you would have to play like on a server or something where you can't be the admin. So what I found is you have these admin controls, and what you can do is you can click on a character. I don't think I can do anything at the moment, but so I died already in this game, right? So on Apocalyptic difficulty, on hardcore, you're not supposed to be able to die and come back. Well, because I'm the admin, it's my game, I can then I can respawn myself. So I consider this to be more of like a Bronze Man gameplay, because at the end of the day, if you die, you get to feel bad because you did die, but then you're not forced to just like completely start from scratch. You can then say like, okay, I want to keep playing and continue from where you died. So you don't abuse the death mechanic as much if you're just playing Apocalyptic but not with hardcore mode on, because you do have to purposely respawn yourself in order to be able to keep playing. So the game is a lot of fun. Unfortunately, with the way the ending is, the exploration in the game is ultimately the big adventure. There isn't really much of a reason to go beyond exploration. You don't get anything else out of it. So, like, getting to the very final boss and defeating the game, at this point in time, there isn't really a major point to doing that. Like, you can feel good about getting to the end of the game, but you don't have to. Like, once you get to the last area, which is called Albatross, and I'm not going to spoil it, you can choose to just, like, set up a base there if you want, and just have that be the end of your game, and never summon the final boss, never get the final ending. Because at the end of the day, this entire game is ultimately about you surviving in a post-apocalyptic lab, essentially, where something like the events of Half-Life or the particular events of the game itself have occurred, and so now you're trying to deal with the fallout. So you're never going to get to, like, go back to the real world, as it were. You never get back to Australia. Everything you do ultimately, like you can help people, you can kind of save people, but none of you get out of the science facility effectively. Not really. So because of that knowledge, and because of that's the way the game is set up to be played, it does feel like, yeah, you don't really have to feel motivated to just push through the entire game, get to the end, and see the ending, because at the end of the day, the ending really isn't what the game is all about. It's about your adventures. It's about what you dealt with, or what you and your friends dealt with trying to survive, where you set up bases, you know, the fun you had, the way you dealt with the various enemy types, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm sad to have, you know, beaten the game, because I do know what that ending is, and I kind of wish that I had stopped just shy of it. I think that the mystery of not knowing if you'll ever escape 100% or not would have been more fun than what I did get. But I'm certainly not going to say, like, the game is horrible. It's just where the game ends right now, it doesn't feel like you really need to have done the final battle, because nothing major happens after that. Now, that being said, there is I think it's a fall. I think it's called a fall update. So they're talking about, let's see here. I thought there was I thought there was news somewhere. I don't see it at the moment. Yeah. So there is a timeline where they said what they're going to be releasing next for the game, and so this is part of their development cycle. So they're going to be adding, I think it's another content patch for the fall of 2026 and then winter of 2026. So my hope is that they will continue to flesh out what happens after you've beaten the game, because as of right now, I kind of feel robbed. Like, none of my questions got answered by beating the game. You don't meet Derek Mance at the end after beating the game. You don't open up a final, like, secret portion of the gate facility in Albatross. So currently there's just, you've got the satisfaction of knowing you beat the game, but that's about all you get. I definitely think anybody who wants to play a survival craft type game, or even just something that reminds them of Half-Life, I think this is definitely a game that anybody could enjoy, because they took some of the worst parts of a survival craft game and they minimized it. So, you know, most survival games, you know, it gets a little irritating collecting resources. They made it to where you can actually, you know, you can get new resources multiple different ways, so that's not so bad. They also made it to where, like, I can pretty well plant just about anything I need as far as, like, a food item. You know, you eventually get freezers, so if you are tired of having to hunt down stuff for certain food ingredients, like, you can just stockpile your freezer and not have to keep hunting them all the time. They've got a good inventory management system, so your backpacks eventually get to be, like, ridiculously overpowered, where you have, like, effectively almost like you have a bag of holding on your back because you've got so many inventory slots. The weapons also get pretty, like, ridiculously overpowered. So the game really leans into that whole aspect of, you're a scientist trying to survive, and so with all the cool technology you run across, then that allows you to unlock new and better weapons. So, you know, every time you get to do that, that's a lot of fun. There are doors in this game, like, so this door right here, this door actually does matter. Like, you won't actually be able to go through that door until the last chapter of the game. But it's kind of cool because it keeps all the different sectors that you get to experience, that keeps them all relevant to what you're doing. So there's never a point where it's like, oh, you don't need or want to go to this area. It's like, no, it's all relevant. So you could totally set up a base in a sector like this and actually get a bit of a payoff, because you know, if you're in any part of the cafeteria or the office sector, realistically any of the areas in the office sector would make a good base. Like, there's actually stuff up above me right now that you can use. So, you know, like, if you want to set up this kitchen as a base, you can do that. You know, this isn't the ideal location, but it's not a bad location. Yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I really had fun. I'm glad that I don't have to just think the game is just completely over and there's no longer anything for me to do. I do get to look forward to the next chapter of the game, because I will have the opportunity to see what happens next. Yeah, the character that I decided to roll, I decided to be a security guard again. So it gives me a downside where I have the what is it called? Slow learner trait. So I'm not great at learning stuff. So it's going to be kind of funny playing through the game where I'm actually like making pretty advanced scientific creations when I'm not supposed to be the brightest guy in the world. But I guess arguably I'm still a bit of a nerdy scientist, no matter how you look at it. This ultimately, I think the cafeteria is a little too powerful of a starting area for you, no matter what. This is generally going to be about the best place you can put your base at the start of the game, which is a little unfortunate because it puts you in a position where it feels almost like the wrong answer.
Anyone else getting a bit
set up your base
hungry?
Because, you know, if you set up on the 3rd floor, it's more inconvenient than being here on the ground floor. If you're on the 2nd floor, same thing. So it's too bad that that's the way it is. But at the same time, it's not like completely horrible that that's how the game's set up. It's just, I feel like the developers could have made things so you get the ability to, say, open a portal to another fixed location sooner, so that you then have something encouraging you to not just set up in one spot and just never vacate. But it is what it is at the moment. It's not the worst. They put enough abilities in the game that managing your inventory isn't painful. I like the fact that you can play on Apocalyptic difficulty, and the enemies aren't bullet sponges as a result. So you can still pretty well fight everything in the game and not just insta-die. Now, that being said, there are some very deadly monsters and enemies in the game, but I think that's fair, that the difficulty to kill some enemies is just because of that enemy type, not because everything in the game is a bullet sponge on the hardest difficulty. I think throwing is very powerful. It's almost like the best ability to use, especially in the beginning of the game. Shooting especially stuff like the grinder, which shoots like saw blades. The grinder is kind of one of the better weapons in the game. It's kind of surprising because you would think it would get out powered, but it seems to stay relevant throughout most of the game, especially with all the different types of ammo you can craft for it. And it does a lot of damage, and it generally you don't lose the ammo as quickly as you do other stuff. So yeah, I could definitely see where you could choose a play style like only use throwing weapons and still make the game very fun. The only thing I don't think is quite balanced right is melee, and that might just be my own particular dealings with it, but you know, the fact that if you do melee, then you have to be like really good at blocking, and so then that means, you know, you got to be good at getting your shield up, and using the shield is always awkward in this game, because if I'm trying to throw stuff, well then the shield doesn't work as well, or I can't even use a shield while I'm throwing stuff. And getting the shield up after I've thrown something is very difficult. So then, yeah, like throwing doesn't really feel too compatible with shield. So I do kind of wonder if they're going to fix that. It's not like they have to, but it would be nice. I also there are a lot of portal worlds you get to go to, but I noticed by and large you tend to go back and forth to the exact same ones all the time. And I don't know if that's just a me problem, or if that's just the way the game was developed, because, you know, the majority of the stuff you need in the game is going to be like, you go to the starting sectors like the manufacturing area, or you go to the train zone, or you go to Flat Hill, and because the stuff in those areas is relevant, like constantly, what you end up doing is, like, I was constantly going back and forth to the train area, or constantly going back and forth to Flat Hill, because they have respawning supplies, and, you know, if you need more, say, broken glass, or computers, or printers, or whatever, you know, there were certain worlds where, like, that was kind of the ideal place
insufficiency
to go to get all that
of
stuff.
food.
And so, you know, the amount of times I went back and forth to Flat Hill is much higher than, say, me going to Voussois, where it's a mountain, kind of like a ski lodge. And that area, like, I did go there a handful of times, but the resources there just were not as important with everything else I was dealing with. So I definitely feel like developers could kind of increase the relevance of some of those other zones, because I think the snowy climate areas are pretty cool. Like the Hydra plant is very cool, but, you know, once you've kind of gotten the baseline stuff out of the Hydra plant, like, there really isn't much of a reason to go back there. So it kind of stifles your need to revisit certain parts of the game. I think that's also why I would highly encourage anybody to choose other locations to put your base, because, you know, Hydra plant, there is tons of stuff there to set up a base in. Plenty of benefits to having your base set up there. They even have a residential, what is it called? It's not a sector, but it's almost like an apartment building inside the Hydra plant area. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff there where you can kind of make it feel homey, and use that as an area to then, you know, continue your exploration of the rest of the facility, and maybe make your way into the next sector, but you don't have to, and that's fine. So yeah, overall the game, I really like it. The fact that I'm still playing it, you know, speaks a lot, I think, for how good the game was made. I do think they still need to fix the Exor Monk, because they are very deadly with the way their combat works. Most of the other enemies you're just about never going to die to. And I personally think that the Exor Monk should not be the deadliest creature in the game, simply because of how they spam their attacks. So I do think that's something that developers should consider fixing. I would think some of the later Exor forms would be the ones that are the most threatening. I do like the way the game has their audio set up, so you generally can tell just by listening what enemies are nearby, and it does take a little while to pick up on the pattern, but you know, as you're running around, you can kind of like hear the various enemies making noises and pick up like which alien it is you're listening to in the distance. So that helps kind of create that kind of feedback loop you need, so that you know what you're doing, or who you're about to be fighting if you're just listening. I don't think I have a whole lot else to say. I do think they need to fix the clipping issue. It's a little silly to me that, you know, there are some enemies that clip through doors and then I can kill them, when realistically, you know, the game, they shouldn't be clipping through the door in the first place, let alone me being allowed to kill them because they're poking their head through the door. Bleach is a little bit weird in this game. So bleach is one of the items you need early on if you want to be able to clean up all the messes on the ground. I find it weird that the only way to get bleach in the beginning parts of the game is by fishing. That's not really something you think that you need to do. So, you know, it's not a bad thing, it's just one of those items where there are technologies you don't unlock because you don't realize it's locked behind fishing up a certain type of fish in a certain zone, and so then you kind of get to this point of being like, you know, I'm tired of dealing with this mess on the floor or whatever, and then you don't realize until later that, oh, I had the ability all this time to get that cleaned up, but I wasn't using the fishing hook, the fishing pole right off the bat. So I do think the research paths need to, if they're going to do stuff that's that, you know, unintuitive, then I do think that they should do stuff to help kind of encourage you to figure that out. I do think they do a pretty good job for the most part of leaving breadcrumbs. I wish the people that you interact with gave a little more dynamic feedback, because
did you get those CPUs from the security robots?
Like,
I can't get my data until you make that hacker.
They only talk about the one thing. Like right now it's get CPUs from robots to make a data hacker. But then afterwards, like, if I talk to her once I made it, she doesn't really recognize that I made it. Doesn't really, you know, say anything else, have any other random lines. There's a handful of NPCs in the game where it's really weird how they just stay in the exact same spot for the entire game. So this guy in the closet that's scared, he never leaves. I've come back here near the end of the
game. I heard the radio,
and he's still
something about
sitting there.
level 3. I'd stay away if I were you.
So, you know, I mean, that's a minor gripe, but considering the number of other NPCs you deal with in the game, I'm surprised that they would have some where they just, like, literally sitting in there when, if nothing else, I would have thought that they would have, you know, say, come down to the cafeteria, maybe built their own area if you haven't, you know, like, make the game feel a little more lived in. I like a lot of the traders that you end up with in the game where they will, you know, come around and visit. So, you know, I think anybody who's not dead within a certain time frame should be, like, moved around to where you can interact with them again and not just see them still stuck in the exact same room you left them in like weeks ago. Portal Storm, I'm not sure how I feel about that. It feels annoying more than anything else. It's not a bad thing. It's just not. It's interesting the first couple times it happens. It's not something I want to repeatedly deal with, especially when I'm playing by myself. I actually prefer some of the later scenarios where you deal with enemies from other parts of the base that you've uncovered. Yeah, so let's see. So generally what I'm going to have to do... Okay. So once these portals start showing up, generally the thing I have to do is put, like, these guys down. So if I put these down, so typically these little portal storms summon pests. So the pests are pretty annoying because they constantly are jumping around. Easiest way to deal with them is to zap them. In fact, actually, one of the biggest things I recommend if you're playing on Apocalyptic difficulty is to have a couple shock traps with you no matter what. Because the majority of the enemies, the shock traps will make them much easier to deal with. So it's not a mandatory, but
Food.
yeah, it's definitely...
I need to find food.
Definitely easier. Alright. So... I think the reason why I'm having a food problem is because of one of the debuffs I took. So, I think one of the debuffs I took is, where is it? Dry skin and hearty appetite. So it means I need food and water quicker, which is generally not a big deal. Hold on. This in the refrigerator upstairs. So one of the downsides is kinda need more soup, whatever they're called, soup pots. Yeah. Yeah, so this lady is still up here on the second floor of the workout area.
I'm not ready yet. Just a little longer. Maybe they'll fix this and I can get back to my work. I have samples denaturing as we speak.
I kind of wish some of the events that occur would change your starting areas a bit more. So the random events that can happen to your base is primarily focused on things like the portal storm where you get attacked by pests. Once you go into the manufacturing sector, you get like kind of like retaliation from the order troops. So you get to kind of see them and deal with them for the first time.
This sector will be powered down momentarily. If you have not already evacuated the facility, consider this your top priority. Have a wonderful and productive evening.
When you start discovering the various like peccaries and exor creatures, then they start to get in your business as well. But nothing really changes too much as far as just like day-to-day stuff in the various zones. So I think that could be something they could make a little more dynamic as you progress through the game. I would certainly enjoy seeing where most of the other scientists end up as we get through the game, so you don't just lose track of them. Like Dr. Thule is kind of fascinating because he's the guy who says he's not going to do anything, but as you progress, he will kind of follow along.
I'm going to wait here. It's not safe out there.
It's also too bad you can't move these metal boxes. I kind of wish there was kind of like a Legend of Zelda feature where once you've gotten to a point where you're strong enough, or you've got like a plasma torch or something, that you could break those open, and that way you can get rid of them. Same thing over here. So this stove is fully functional, right? It has 8 burners. You're only ever allowed to use 1 because you're physically incapable of cleaning up this rubble that fell on it. So I find that to be a bit disappointing.
I believe I need to, defecate.
Warning. Biological incursion detected. Alert. Defense team personnel.
So something about the way the pests show up. They need to turn something off because I can't throw my weapons into them. Okay. So, and then the fact that they destroy my furniture is pretty annoying too. Now the cool thing I did learn is these loot bags, I can't add anything to them, but I can clean them out. So what I can do
Oh dear. I really must use the restroom.
yeah. So I don't have to spend a bunch of time fixing up the filing cabinets and then putting all the stuff back into them. The inventory bags that are on the ground, I can just leave them there for now, which is pretty nice. So that means these loot bags, I can just leave those there until I feel like fixing everything later. I think there's a lamp in there somewhere. Anyway, so I like to keep these guys with me. Alright. So I believe... Let's see. So that's a controller. So this is the thing I need to make. Okay, so I need a raw... Nope, I'm on the wrong recipe. Okay, so... Okay, so I need computation bricks, circuit boards, glass, keyboards, and... Alright, so I believe I'm gonna need something like that.
Attention, this sector is under precautionary security measures. Please remain in place and wait for security
Maybe
assistance.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, I might have enough to make the computational bricks. Cool. Okay. Alright. Then I need keyboards. Okay. So keyboard. And then I need bioscrap. that stuff back in as long as it's not adding a slot. Okay. I think I can finish making the keypad hacker. Alright. So there you go. Alright. So... I did want to show off something that's kind of cool. So the game actually gives you a hint about all the places you're going to be going. So that green highlighted area over there, that's the entrance to the security sector. This doorway that's locked is one of the other ways to get into the security sector.
I have seen death here.
Yeah, the security guard, she actually ran out of the security area because of the immurement subject that was in there. So yeah, I want to get to level 5 throwing, because that'll allow me to automatically pick up stuff that I'm throwing.
This is Dr. Derek Mance. One of the most interesting aspects of the 173's life cycle is how rapidly it evolves. The high-energy conditions of our universe compared to the torpid energetics of Antiverse 2 appear to accelerate their growth immensely. It's humbling, if not a little frightening, to watch life forms alter so quickly. The explosion of Antiverse flora in reactors was far from an isolated event. It goes to the very nature of life in that realm.
So over here, you can actually see the hydro plant. which is pretty cool. Which, this passage right here takes you to the Hydra plant. This takes you to power services, which is at the bottom of the Hydra plant. Again, that's pretty cool.
I can barely keep my eyes open.
All right. So I actually put this shortcut over here, just to make that a little quicker. I need one more item. Yeah, okay. And then peccary skulls, I don't need those on me. Okay. So I still need one ingredient before I can make my own healing syringes and fix my the most difficult thing about the apocalyptic difficulty isn't the enemies, it's the fact that you really need to heal yourself. So right now I have 0 capacity to heal myself until I secure the ingredients for healing syringes. And one of the last ingredients I need is antiverse wheat. So that means it's in my best interest to get up to the 3rd floor, go into the portal to Far Garden, and that way I can start collecting antiverse wheat. Yeah. Let's see. Feels like, yeah. All right. So typically what I like to do is essentially scour this room for all the good supplies. So the computers don't really matter that much. Like, this is where you have to go in the beginning of the game to get your computer parts. But as you continue to explore, yeah, you start getting most of your computer parts from places like Flat Hill, because you can constantly go back and re-loot everything again. Whereas the stuff in this area, you only can loot it once. Once you pick it up, it's not coming back. Oh, yeah, I already killed him. So typically what I like to do is clean out any of the like filing cabinets and drawers that are on people's cubicles. The other nice thing is, if I break apart the printers and the computers up here with a knife, I'm leveling up short melee, which comes in handy over time. Oh, that's funny. Ow. Hold on here. Clean up some of this stuff. Alright. So yeah, unfortunately, just because of the desire to loot, you're generally gonna have a pretty big impact on this open office area. Which does kind of bring in the question of, what would your preference be? You know, my preference is for this place to not look like a pigsty anyway, so I'm not too concerned about looting some of it. But you do get that kind of like feeling like, yeah, you've pretty well just completely gutted all of the office cubicles later on in the game, because you kind of break down everything. So the way it feels right now is a lot different from how how it feels once you've completely looted all of the furniture and stuff inside all the drawers and the shelves. So yeah. But that being said, I mean, I would personally rather have the area cleaned back up than anything else. Okay. That's weird. Let's see, how am I doing? How many staplers do I have? Really, only 2? No, I got 14 more. Okay. So, what I like the idea of... So I'm always a fan of having extra soup. Right? So... take the soup pots. So I got places like this where we got excess water, right? Alright. So then we're not going to be able to use... Oh, they can't even place it. Okay, let's see. So let's take 2 of those, 2 of those, and 2 of those. Alright, so that should be 2 soups that I can make. Which 2 soups will feed me for a while. So now this one, I think, yeah, I'll just put that in there. So I'm gonna be hungry here pretty quick. Worry about the soup. So I'm kind of the opinion that you really need to get away from that starter base, right? So in my mind, the best thing you can do is kind of like abandon your first base as soon as possible. So, I'm not a big fan of opening up the store, but the only way you can get access to the locker area is by coming through this room. Because otherwise you can't unlock that door. So.
Soldiers came through. They locked down manufacturing. Wanted information about the silos on level 3. They weren't gatekeepers. They were something else. I couldn't tell them anything. But if you can find a power cell,
We can use the forklift to open the door. Get out of here through the surface tunnel. Thank you. I mean it. I just need a moment. I'll be good, yeah?
Cool. So yeah, I like the fact that he becomes one of the people that you trade with. Let's see here. So there's a couple doors in the game you never really learn about. Whoop. So some of these doors don't matter too much.
Life.
I think this door, yeah, okay. Okay, there we go. Oh, I don't have the other two. Okay. So yeah, I can open this. So realistically, if you only have 2 shock traps, yeah. Come on. So this is kind of like the new base location you should set up. And then personally, I don't think you should really clean it up that much.
Where's the...
Do you have any idea what's going on? Oh, have you only got blue clearance too? I've been hiding here since those goons attacked that poor technician down there. Is he even still breathing? I can't bear to look. Something's happened to the perforation system. The portals have gone haywire, but that shouldn't be able to happen. I wish I knew what was happening in labs right now.
So yeah.
Oh.
So I believe... So they seem to have a certain amount of physics on the mechanics of how dead enemies move roll around.
Security measures. Please remain in place and wait for security assistance.
Okay. Okay, so... Well, I guess I should keep the carbuncle. Okay. Close to level 5. Alright.
Oh dear. I really must use the restroom.
I wish you got some additional dialogue options with Warren, considering I'm like a... What is my job title? I'm a defense analyst. So, you know, based off the picture, that seems to be... I'm a similar job to Warren. But, anyway.
Do or don't, it's all the same to me.
I really wish you didn't have to live with this doctor just laying there dead for the rest of the game. Like, if I can't help him, you should at least let me clean him up so he's not just laying there. Let's see. So I need to clean myself up. I believe I needed a controller. So 2 keyboards, 2 desk phones, screws. I think I need that. Is there anything else I need? Alright. Okay. So I do still need the metal scrap. Repair my stuff. Need a magazine. Okay. Alright. Drumstick on me, which I don't need. Yeah, I think I searched all these lockers. Okay. Huh. Okay. Alright. All clean. Might as well install the controller chip. See anything else. I'm getting close. All right. I was going to point something out. So
the optimal way to getting back.
There is an area in here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think did I get everything? Looks like it. Some of these rooms do make me ask questions. Like, okay, so clearly we got cubicle area, but it's cubicle it's like a shared office. So it's like two people would have shared this space. So would that have made them important, or just like the front secretary people? Because this is reception. So would these people have been just part of reception? Anyway, just a question. So there is a couple doors. Biolab, reception, residence. I thought there was a sign in this part of the building that said synaptic, like synaptic lab or something. Maybe it's in the lab, or what's the other area called? It's like the laboratory something space. Anyway. Because I've always wondered, like, okay, so like this, that is just a shortcut. Yeah, some of this area I always wonder about. Oh, yeah, let me put some stuff away. I can show you something else I always wonder about. Yeah. So I need to get the antivirus suite, but I think I can unlock these. Okay. And generally speaking... Okay. So on level 3, it's kind of cool because they show you stuff that's like end game content, but you don't even realize you're looking at it. That's also kind of weird. So that says security office this way. So does that mean this door is supposed to go to a portion of the security building? That'd be kind of weird. Oh, yeah, I guess there is this security office.
So it's important.
But then it makes me wonder, like, if this is a security office and we've got these closed doors, are the closed doors supposed to also branch off to security? Anyway.
While resting and
because that would make sense. So this area, again, feels like a very specific kind of like a either security or some bigwigs that are on this floor, because they get some nice window views. So yeah, like the idea that you're gonna have a guy up here just kind of staring out at the people coming and going. Seems like that somebody important must have been up here at one point.
Dr. Derek Mance reporting. Although it remains essentially hostile, these peccary can be taught to respond to basic commands, as Dr. Manbanco has demonstrated so performatively, as its biosystems work much more swiftly here. It learns extremely rapidly. Many on the executive committee will want a weapon, I'm sure. Their imagination reaches no further. But if we can just breed the aggression out, the peccary would make an extraordinary work beast. Our world has enough toys of war.
Little shit. So yeah, if we go up to the third floor, there's a couple areas up here. Come on. There. So yeah, there's a couple areas up here that you could about 100 experience points that we need. So there's an area up there that you don't really notice at first.
Yeah.
He killed him. Cool. So now I should auto pick up. There. So this isn't where the secret is. It's actually over here. So this area is a dead end. It doesn't actually. This is one of the cool things. So this shows you the residence tram that you don't currently have access to, right? And that's the residence building over there. And so you can actually see where the trams go. And I believe it's a tram from manufacturing and from the office sector to get over to that one. So that's pretty neat. So this is the end of the game right there. So you can't get there until almost the very end of the game. So yeah, this is what is it called? This is the Flat Hill portal. Yeah. This guy also doesn't go anywhere if I remember right.
Oh, this is worse than last time.
So, some of these doctors and stuff, I kind of wish, like, if you're going to be up here in the ceiling, I kind of wish they would persist, you know? So then, if he decides not to go anywhere, and he obviously didn't get killed, it would be kind of cool if he actually built, like, a little science-y base up in the ceiling, because that's where he feels safe. And, yeah. So it doesn't look like Abe and Janet are here yet. So yeah, so this allows you to see the Far Garden portal in Silo 2, and this allows you to see the Flat Hill portal in Silo 3. So it's kind of cool though that you actually get to see the entrance to the resident sector, and you know, it's almost too bad you don't get to go there for so long. But yeah. Theories. Yeah. Anyway, I wish everything. I wish it was easier to get everything unredacted by the end of the game. Like, some of the requirements are a bit excessive, if I remember right. Like, if I want to know more about one of these. Yeah, I have to kill 500 peccary to unlock this next piece of information. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, 500 is that's a lot.
If I was any more tired, I'd be comatose.
Yeah. Now the nice thing is, I can actually sleep here. So I kind of enjoy the fact that I made all the water tainted in the sinks, because as far as I'm concerned,
This sector will be powered down
sink water really should not be
If you have
clean
not already
anyway.
evacuated the facility, consider
Not for
this
drinking.
your top priority.
Let's see here.
Did you get those CPUs from the security robots? I can't get my data until you make that hacker. Those security bots are lethal, but taking one down and getting the CPU is our only chance to rescue my data.
Yeah, see, I wish I could do more about that storyline piece. fun stuff. Whew. Huh, that's weird. Okay. So I was about to open up the doorway.
Stop!
That's really annoying. Okay. So can you guess what's the most annoying thing about that? I only have one healing syringe. So, for a section of the game where there's a very dangerous enemy trying to shoot me, that seems to me like I should have more ways to heal myself at this point.
Scientist! Do not reignite the rift. There are abominations within. My brethren crossed over to seal your folly. Trust to your knowledge not already clear. If you will not stop yourself, we will.
Yeah. A little judgy there for a guy who coordinated a massive attack on our base. Alright. So... let me see here. Oh, that's not good. Well, what the hell was that? Come on. Now where'd he go? Big dumbass. Come on. How am I doing on?
Attention. This sector is under precautionary security measures. Please remain in place and wait for security assistance.
Alright. So yeah, the scary thing is I don't have a whole lot of health at the moment. Okay. So there really needs to be a quicker way to heal yourself at this point. Because I have to at least kill one. I have to kill at least one of the Exor monks. Hopefully I should be able to kill the Exor without taking too much damage. So what I'm going to do is just stay away from the optional. If I could safely capture it, I'd capture this thing too, but I think I need, I forget what ingredient it is, but I need to convert a radiation suit into a beekeeper suit, and I don't even have a radiation suit yet, so, okay. So...
Dr. Derek Mance reporting. Research Director, Gate Cascade Research Facility. Antiverse 2 is an enigma. A world made of worlds. Each of them different, yet seeded with similar life. We know a few certain facts. That energy moves more slowly there, making growth, evolution, and change a more gradual process. We know, too, that materials transplanted from Antiverse B to our own are energy-dense. Biochemistry occurs much more rapidly. But how did these creatures evolve? The presence of life, complex life, confounds everything we know about evolution. Was an external force involved? Only further study can tell us.
I perceive a distinct lack of snacks.
So at this point you would think that we could finally talk, right?
In the end, the science is all that matters. I couldn't live with myself if I had to abandon my data. I mean, what would the point of any of this be? Nice amount of experience.
I heard the radio, something about level 3. I'd stay away if I were you.
So, yeah. So the interesting thing is, I think, so we're in Australia right now. With all the portal locations we go to, I mean, that would indicate that somewhere in the United States, one of the two gate facilities is Flat Hill, so that would probably be where Flat Hill is. We don't know where the train is. Rise is another location we're not really sure about. This location out in the middle of nowhere between South America and Africa is probably Albatross. I think Voussois is supposed to be in the French region, so that's probably up in the Alps or something like that. I don't know that we really covered any of the other locations necessarily. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. We didn't really get to see a lot of these locations, I don't think. It does make you hope that they're going to either do a sequel or more DLC. So, anyway. Tram Plaza.
Is this malnourishment?
Metal. Should have an energy brick right there. Okay. So what I'm gonna have to do, see if I can plant this antiverse wheat, which means I'm gonna have to make one of these. Okay. So ideally, what we want to do is plant this somewhere like here. could set up a base up here if I wanted. The only issue I really have is this is just so... Yeah. Interesting. So there's not really anything else to get from here.
Whatever it is they're doing in Silo 3, it used every power cell we had.
Yeah. So if I cleaned up the room... This could eventually be a decent little base. Just would be very annoying. Alright.
I may soon need the facilities. There's an invention in the late game I kind of wish you had access to earlier. It allows you to share the items that are in a container, no matter where you are in the world. So the benefit at the time, because it didn't come around until late game, was you use that item to basically carry a bunch of backup stuff with you without having to like actually be affected by the weight and having free inventory space. But if you could have used it sooner, it would have been nice, in theory, if you could, you know, use it, but then also not have it like you only have the one instance of shared space. If you could make it to where you have like multiples of those, because then you could essentially, like, you wouldn't have to relocate your base. Your stuff would just be accessible wherever you were. But that's not the way it really gets used, unfortunately.
I have to go right away.
Yeah. Do you, though? Okay. Huh. You know, the purpose of this drop ceiling is very, like, questionable to me. Because what the fuck fell? Like, you would think. So there's a room up there, right? Looks like there's a couple rooms up there. So that would make me think I'm looking at this, the upper floor. Huh. Yeah.
Reckon I'm leaving here? I don't think so. Radio's dead, half the doors are buggered, and now there's these little hoppy things everywhere. You're on your own.
But if anything you like turns up, come see me for a trade. You like peas?
Okay. So, water bottle. Don't really need it. Yeah. Yeah, there is a bit of a question there, like, where would that be on the floor, on the layout?
I'm not ready yet. Just a little longer. Maybe they'll fix this and I can get back to my work. I have samples denaturing as we speak.
Yeah. It's too bad, because I don't think... Yeah, I don't think you can get up in that area. So, the way that looks...
Have a wonderful and productive evening.
It is interesting. You got 1, 2, 3 people just in those areas, plus number 4 was over in the security guard. 5 is Warren. Six is whoever the guy is in the alternate base location that I'm headed to right now. And then the guy that was like gut shot or whatever that I healed, that was like number 7. There's quite a few people alive out here.
Life at Gate can be demanding, so it's important.
should have 2 more of these somewhere. Lord, man. Oh, come on now. Okay. That's stupid. Alright.
Oh.
Supposed to get shot. That's weird. That felt a little glitchy.
Precautionary security measures.
So yeah,
Please remain in place and wait for
something
security assistance.
didn't seem to work correctly there.
I can't contain this much longer.
I need to figure out where I put my other 2 traps. Okay. Alright. That seems bad.
I'm tired. I have to stop here pretty quick.
So the nice thing is, because I set this place up, I get free healing whenever I'm nearby. So that helps a little bit. Alright, so I think I can pretty well just fix everything I want. Yeah. I also can do this now. So that should... So take that. Okay. So now both of these should work permanently. Alright. And then... So, we can go ahead and put the chef's counter here. really want to set this up permanently as a kitchen. This is more of a temporary. I do have a bit of a problem because my food is going bad.
I can feel my blood sugar falling.
Yeah. Alright. So ideally, yeah. So ideally what we want to do is that really how we want it to look? I think that's enough. So the way we really want it to look is more like yeah, that's better. Okay. So then we're going to need like one in this direction. Well, I guess two in this direction, really. And then two in the other direction. fishing before it's really going to be a proper base. Whoops. Let's get rid of these. So if I was going to keep anything, I would probably might have to hold on to the food for a bit.
I can feel my blood sugar falling.
I guess I'm going to stop here for now. Thanks for watching.